So what's your position?
There was something I was going to reference. They said transaction analysis of Saltina Enterprises Republic Bank accounts and entities used as vehicles to launder the proceeds of the criminal enterprise established by Hanan and his wife Fauza corroborated the claims made by Mr. James Tieku Apau. For example, a review of some of the retransfers of the funds paid to Saltina Enterprise by Buffer Stock revealed the following. Then they show 19 million payments from Saltina Enterprise to Hanan Abdul Wahab, Saltina Enterprise to Alkani Enterprise 23 million, Saltina Enterprise to Fauhauser Enterprise 500,000, Saltina Enterprise to Chain Homes Limited 550,000. They are looking at a total of 40 million that was, paid. And then they have done what they call their contemporaneous tracing of proceeds of crime, which has led them to freeze an amount of 10 million sitting in his accounts. What do you say?
Something. Good morning. You said you are not wearing your lawyer's hat, but I'm allowed to wear mine, right?
I wish you don't act as a typical defense lawyer.
No, I think there's a lot that has run through my mind as we have these discussions and hear these things. For me, the question of how to solve or uproot or minimize corruption cannot be answered when we limit it to politically exposed persons and we try and make them examples, for lack of a better word, of how to solve corruption.
But they steal the big money.
No, I'm saying examples of
the big
how
money
to
that can
solve
build
corruption.
hospitals in our places and fix our roads.
I have no
they
doubt.
are stealing those
I have
monies.
no doubt. But
why should we follow the petty thieves?
no, I'm not saying don't follow them. I think that as a country, we should agree on a systematic procedure, a mechanism in compliance with either existing law or laws that we would pass so that we can address the issues to the root of it. For me, when I listen to the Attorney General with these press conferences, it emboldens my advocacy that perhaps it is time for us to actually decouple the office of the Attorney General from the Minister of Justice.
Okay.
The reason being that the Attorney General cannot be a witness in a case that he's prosecuting. So all the things that he's saying, he cannot go and stand in the courtroom to testify. He has to use persons who now have first-hand information. Those persons will be cross-examined. Now, the Minister of Justice, you use the situation of the DA's office. In America, they do not have a Minister of Justice, but they have a Justice Department.
Yeah.
And they have an Attorney General who is a political appointee. And the office of the Justice Department, they sometimes hold some of these conferences to give the public an update as to where you are. Now, something, in recent times, the Attorney General held a press conference in Edu Buahin's case. And then narrated how some things had happened. There were 3 accused, I don't know the number of accused, but there was a lady who was also, the narration was that she had also participated and what have you. The Attorney General did that. Just before trial started, the Attorney General has done a U-turn on that lady and now using the lady as a prosecution witness.
Is that a U-turn?
No,
That is benefit. And he has told us that in almost all of these cases, they have what we call the small thieves who know all the things that went on. So if there are any deals they are cutting, the deals they are cutting is that come and help us to win against the other person so that you go free.
No, you see, but what I'm saying is that in the initial press conference, the woman was also presented as somebody who had participated in the crime. So the public...
QuickBooks gives me the superpower to automate my invoices, track expenses, and get paid fast so I can get back to what I love. Get more done in less time with QuickBooks Online.
For years, you made Sultana more than just a brand. It has become a part of your home.
1, Samson Ladi, count 3, Mr. Tenka, count 4. And you say that these are the offenses that we have committed. Before you file the charges, you hold a press conference and say, we have done A, B, C, D. And then the public will react based on what you told us. Then when you file the charges and the trial starts, you remove Bobby Banson as an accused person and then now a prosecution witness. You are not using me as a prosecution witness and later ask for me to be jailed. So the story has changed.
If Bobby Banson
have amended the charge
that is what I'm trying to say.
If Bobby Banson has a good lawyer, or let's say a very ethical lawyer who says, look, Attorney General, I beg you, my clients have spoken to me. She admits that she did A, B, C, D. Please help us out. We are ready to testify to help you catch the bigger fish for the 48 or 9 million. So leave our small
will that reverse? No, but will that reverse the press conference?
It doesn't change the facts. It is only the circumstance of the individual.
I am trying to say that there is an inherent risk.
Okay.
With the nature and the content of the press conference.
Okay.
That is what I'm trying to say. That there's an inherent risk because the story or the circumstances as was changed in the case of Mildred may affect other people that have been,
you have been traveling the globe. You know what the DA's office do in the US when they have prosecutions to do, how they come out and say, I'm talking about the Department of Justice and those district attorneys.
That is why I said...
They come and say, we have ABC. When Trump's issues came up, we had, they'll do press conferences before they file or even after they file, they do press... And tell us that he's a thief.
That is why I'm saying that it may be better.
Please, correct that thing.
No,
from the morning. Samson. Hold on, please. Don't mislead our viewers and listeners. You see, you are one person that I hold so much in high esteem. I beg you. The Americans say they don't come and hold a press conference and say the person is a thief. That's not what they say. They don't do prejudicial comments. They don't do that in what they do is to come and read out the charges and say we are ready to go to court. They don't call a person a thief when he has not been convicted. You can only call him a thief when he has been convicted. Until then, he's suspected. Please.
So the point
that's the law.
Is that
you may not be happy with it. That's the law. That's the law.
Perhaps
we are not speaking English. We are speaking law. Please.
Perhaps it may be necessary for us to push the agenda of decoupling the two offices. The Minister of Justice may be in a better position to be able to give the public maybe some of these announcements and leave the office of the Attorney General to be able to give or in that capacity as they... I think that if we do not have a systematic approach, we may be having problems. Now, when the Attorney General said most of the... Okay, he didn't say most, but some of the documents that were presented to them from the oral team, and this is in reaction to what the former Auditor General said this morning, they found out that they didn't have evidence. And I had always made the point that the concept of recovery of all public loots is one that must be supported by every well-meaning Ghanaian. But in an attempt to implement that, we must not forgo what the existing legal structures say.
That's the point.
Now, if you look at how oral even started operating, I had raised the point, what was the legal ambit within which oral operated? Because you see, we have the Whistleblowers Act that provides for the mechanism for persons to disclose information when they think there has been a crime or suspicion of crime having been committed. And the Whistleblowers Act provided for the mechanism and the procedure for disclosing these allegations to the right entities for them to investigate. Now, the Whistleblowers Act says that when these disclosures are made, they should be recorded in the form they are made and then transmitted to the Attorney General's office or whatever state institution is responsible within 7 days. Now, you have an issue where a group of 5, 6, 7, I don't remember the number of persons who were members of the oral team, said that they received complaints from the public. They themselves decided to put together the complaint and then now submit it. Now you have an idea of, okay, somebody comes to say A, B, C, D has happened. They themselves put it together the way they deem fit and then present it to the AG's office. Now the AG will look at it, and I am not surprised that they've come to that conclusion, that it will be difficult to prosecute on some of these complaints. As a country, we cannot uproot corruption based on propaganda. For me, that is a fact. And whether it is MPP, whether it is NDC, the moment you allow...
The process are propaganda for you?
No, I'm not saying this process. I'm making a general statement.
The process, the press conferences that they hold.
No, I'm not saying the Attorney General's press conference are propaganda. It is okay for the Attorney General to announce to us, these are the steps that we are taking in the discharge of my obligation. I have no problem with him taking that step, because he's a public appointee, and the public, even the OSP...
Where do they cross the line?
When you make conclusions of facts.
Conclusions.
Because you'll be appearing before a judge and presenting your case.
I know the facts, but I should say they are not facts.
No.
I don't believe in them.
No.
Why am I prosecuting in the first place? I'm prosecuting because I believe in the case.
I am saying that the Attorney General, with all his experience, has a right to determine the manner and the style. I will not begrudge him. It is his case. I cannot direct him how to do his press conference. But I have just cited to you an inherent risk in this approach in the Mildred case. I have just used that as a perfect example. That what then happened to the statements that were made earlier in these press conferences, when 2 months down the line, you say the circumstances have changed.
The circumstances for the individual.
Yeah, exactly, for the individual.
Mildred was charged for, I think, conspiracy.
But the punishment for conspiracy is the same as the substantive offense.
That's right.
In that case.
No.
Anyway,
yes. So if
Samson, why didn't they let her do plea bargain? They'll convict her and use her as a witness. Why didn't they do that?
But you have been a deputy AG before.
Why didn't they do
He's the one doing this case, and he goes on what he was.
This is what I'm saying.
Exactly what is going to
It's
happen.
how successful she has been at bargaining.
No, Samson, the other
He says, if you convict me, I won't testify for you.
Exactly. He needs people to
That is what I'm saying.
Because if it's my client, I'll insist that we don't. If you want us, we won't come for conviction.
It is fair.
Yeah.
It is fair. But my point is that what has happened to the initial delivery, then subsequent change in circumstances, so that in him making these press conferences, he may want to be mindful of the possibility of changing circumstances, so that the statement that you make...
What do you guys... and this thing is being turned into the press conferences rather than the meat of the situation. You know, it's been said that the most effective way to fight corruption is name, shame, and jail.
Within the context of applicable law.
Correct.
Yes, that's key.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll be building a system.
Can you hear my question?
Correct. Yes.
Can you hear my question?
Everybody quoted.
So my question is, how should the Attorney General stop these press conferences? If he should not stop, how should he do them?
He should
because I am very familiar with how in the United States, in Canada, in parts of Europe, you know, this is common. Prosecutors, how they announce indictments or charges, particularly in major cases involving public officials, organized crime, and national security. They explain the nature of the charges, they explain the evidence supporting them, and then they talk about the next steps that they have to do, and this is intended to reinforce public trust by demonstrating transparency and accountability in the justice system. Of course, I will admit that in the US, the district attorneys and so on, when they are doing the UK as well, the Crown prosecutors, when they are doing this, they do it within certain ethical and legal constraints.
Absolutely. That's all I've said this morning. That's all that I have been saying this morning.
And I support I support the weekly and the monthly report of what is going on. Yes. But you see, you'll be now presenting your case before a judge.
Yes.
And so if you make conclusions of facts, and like I like the phrase you use, and I keep borrowing it, and there are changing circumstances, what then happens is like you've what the chiefs will say, what into to form now after.
What's wrong with that?
No. There's everything.
They can always come back and say we we had this and blood, but now
Let me
it's
tell
change
you
of
what is wrong
circumstance.
with that.
We are sorry we
Let
said
me tell
this.
you what is wrong with that. My senior colleague here made statements that if this is what Mr. Osesibe is alleged to have done at National Service, then he's saying then that they should go to his time at KMA and go and audit him.
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
No, he's making these statements based on the publications by the Aegis Department.
Publication of an audit report, forensic audit report.
No, I'm saying that based on the encounters from the Aegis Department.
The AG is relying on
Samson.
a forensic audit.
Wait, Samson. I
until
heard your
until that audit is overturned, is conclusive of the person's wrongdoing.
Samson, I heard your.
Does it constitute guilt?
Until it has been impeached.
Does it constitute guilt?
I heard your
It's not
submission on the Auditor General's report.
The offense can be named.
We are in this country when the Zoom Lion matter. The Auditor General came out with a report and surcharged. He went to the Supreme Court and it was quashed. In this country,
It has happened.
it has happened more than once.
But again, without suggesting this was the case,
Yes.
you and I know as lawyers with experience that it's not all the time that somebody is acquitted and discharged that they are actually not guilty.
Of course.
But procedural fairness is as good as substantive fairness in our law. That is why the Constitution provides when you arrest the person, you must recite to the person why he's right, blah, blah, blah. If you do not do that,
You endorse this approach to fighting corruption. So what is your problem? In the last 5 years, the Auditor General's report over the last 5 years show cumulatively that public officials have stolen and misused almost 80 billion Ghana cedis.
And nothing has happened.
When you went to the IMF, how much did you go for?
3.
Only $3 billion US
I
dollars.
completely agree with you.
The people who give you money every year in this country to sustain what you do, they say every year in excess of $3 billion US dollars is unaccounted for. Now we know that figure is about $5 billion US dollars.
Samson,
How do you want to fight this?
that I'm saying is that-
Let me correct something.
Yes.
Again, this issue has always been talked about, and we misinform the public. I was in Parliament, and this issue has ever come up, and I commented on it. It is not true that those monies are stolen. It is not true. Those billions you see there, it is not true. Some of them, you see, money was supposed to be used to build a school, and you go and use and buy a car. You have misapplied it.
Misapplication.
So it will all be part of that billion you're talking about.
I said,
But it is
they
not
say
stealing.
it's unaccounted for. The Auditor General in the report says irregularities have led to this. And yet he says what? He can recover about 80%. What is he going to recover? Irregularities. He's going to recover stolen money.
Let me indicate this to you. They have a very tall order if they go to court. I'm telling you that in most of the cases that I have looked at in the Auditor General's report, it is normally the case that you budget for a particular thing, you don't do it, and you do another thing. That's misapplication of funds. And they will lump all those things into the irregularities. But when you prosecute such a person, you can't convict him.
Something. The point
Yes,
I
go
have
on.
been making is that I am all for every attempt to fight corruption. But I'm saying that if I'm not saying this is happening now, but if as a society, as a country, we only do knee-jerk reactions, we will only be painting the dirt, and then when it rains, it will reveal itself again. We should sit down and look at the fundamental issues that result, embolden and encourage these corrupt practices, and then we uproot them.
If somebody feels accused, they can also react. As we are told now, the JA plant pool, they are saying that the alleged $2 million overpayment is actually due to clerical error by the PPA and not that they have stolen any money. They said that the alleged 38 million tax evasion is also false because the equipment involved were for maintenance and support services. Alleged over invoicing is false and price their price was lower, whatever. So they also have the opportunity.
They've even added something.
What's the problem?
They've even added something. I didn't want to say that, but you have said it. So they've even added that they have not been fully paid. So to say they are going to refund means they have been fully paid. So even if it is established, you only withhold it. You don't refund.
You set off.
Yeah, set off. That's all.
Yeah.
Something.
Can we move away from press conference propriety or not and ask you the question that this week the revelations by the state organizations, from the OSP's own, from the oral's own, is taking us to in excess of 2.5 billion potentially lost to the state. And I asked the question, how did they escape all the processes of checks?
Something
How do you feel about it?
very bad that as a country we keep repeating this cycle. And I was trying to make the point that for me, if we don't go to the root of it, next year, next 2 years, we'll come and speak about these same things. I have always argued that one sure way of curbing the fight, how people, political actors, are bold to engage in corrupt practices. Honorable shared something with me off air. I think all of us heard it. How once you are appointed into public office, every Friday, I have some friends who are there. Friday, they don't even want to go to their office.
Discourage it.
Because people will come and line up.
Don't encourage it, discourage
Oh, they will report you to the party.
If you discourage
They will
it,
report you to the party.
your political options are limited
They
now.
will get you out.
And I think,
Grassroots.
we have.
Would you rather be ethical or be pushed to be corrupt?
something?
Is there excuse for
No,
corruption?
would we rather enforce the laws on election in Ghana? That would sieve how political parties and political actors get elected are financed.
That's a good question.
I have always maintained if we don't address
to get
enforcement of the political laws,
to mount a successful presidential election
Yes.
campaign in Ghana, you need to spend not less than $200 million.
Who has that?
where do we get that money from?
It used to be about 100 million. It moved to 150 million, and now the researchers say it is about $200 million.
Look at even
Where do
the
they get that money from?
Look at the primaries before you do the primaries.
Yes.
Before you go for the main election. Meanwhile, we have the law, the Electoral Commission law.
I ask you a question. Where do they get that money from?
I have never stood for election.
They
before.
steal it.
I have never been close to somebody who stood for election before.
I disagree with you. I disagree.
All that I know is that the
that
law,
Sanchez, I disagree
the
with
law
you.
that governs the work of the Electoral Commission.
People believe
that
in you.
at the end of
Put up yourself and see. Tomorrow morning, put up yourself.
The amount of people that believe
believe
don't
in
let
you.
them
Don't
stop.
come and don't come and control.
that law says that every year political parties must file an annual report.
But they do.
Wait. No, they don't do. Wait. And then disclose their source of funding.
So okay.
If the political parties do not do that, the EC should strike out the names of those political parties.
But some people have been struck out several times.
Oh, and the two main political parties.
We have been complying.
Oh, please, let's do a search at the EC.
I think the law's requirement, as I remember it, 25 days to elections, you're supposed to do that.
Exactly.
And then 6 months after election, you're supposed to bring your audited accounts and everything again.
Okay.
But we know the EC doesn't have time for these
I'm
things.
telling you.
It took
you can do a
Kofi
search.
Bentil,
And see how many
Ebua,
times
and
they've
Co to go to
complied.
court to get the EC to be compelled to do
Yes.
it. They didn't even do it because they didn't
They
have time
still
for
don't
it.
have. The second thing I think we should look at is an amendment to the disclosure when you appointed public office. What was it called?
The
Assets,
Yeah.
declaration of assets. That we should have that in a manner that everybody. It's not like it should be disclosed hidden only when there's a
You
trouble.
have succeeded in not talking about the substantive narrations by the agent.
No, but you say we should move away, and that is the point I'm trying to say.
The substantive allegations that he has made.
Samson, they are all allegations.
The political party situation.
Yes.
The biggest problem with that law is that it has to be cured. It says the party is the one to submit the accounts and the audits. The political parties, they don't fund their campaigns through the party. They fund it through the individual MP candidate or presidential candidate. So the law needs to change to target the individuals rather than the
That
party.
is what I'm saying, that we must look at addressing those grassroots, those problems that grow into what we are seeing now. Assuming that these allegations are made, sometimes you ask yourself, this 78 million, what does the person use it for? You ask yourself.
Okay.
So these amounts, definitely, if there's somebody in a political office who feels that he owes an obligation, listen, Mr. Haruna Eseku, may his soul rest in peace. I was young.
Kickback.
But I remember issues where he said, contractors must bring money, he must take them to
Jubilee
the
House.
presidency to fund. He said it. And he lost his political position when they were going for the election as party chairman.
And you know that was truth, right?
I don't know, but I'm saying I was young, I heard it. And so you cannot wash away some of these things if we do not address political funding, the asset declaration, and more importantly, we should stop being hypocrites.
Samson, the asset declaration.
Let me finish that one. We should stop being hypocrites, Samson. We have members of parliament who said once that somebody had come to parliament to attempt to bribe MPs.
Yeah.
He was asked to disclose who. He said he will not.
He's being held around as a vocal and a champion anti-corruption person.
That is what I'm saying. We are
talking
hypocrites.
about Apia Kubi, right? What's the name? Yes.
Andy.
Apia
Secondly,
Kubi.
we have people who have said that they were
Yeah.
bribed by a national security coordinator. Somebody offered bribe and whatever, and that they were going to disclose those matters. They never did. And so sometimes the people who are in public space advocating against these corrupt practices, when they are personally involved and have an opportunity to walk the talk, they do not.
And we don't punish them.
That is
at the
what I'm
poll.
saying.
Even though Andy Apia Kubi lost his elections, I'm not sure this was the reason he lost it.
Samson,
if you look at Nora,
Professor Kofi Abochi joins us.
Yes,
Professor Kofi
yes,
Abochi joins us.
Go to him, just